Good day YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Wysol and today we are going to be talking about the rise of the imagination. Now what do I mean? I'll explain what I mean in a second. But before I start, I want you to look around. Wherever you're outside, inside, in your room, outdoors, could be in your kitchen, anywhere. Any object you see that you consider man-made was made in the imagination of a reflection of you. Okay? The imagination, the Eye-Magi-Nation, the Eye-Magi-Nation is the future. Now anyone that's on or doing spiritual practices is doing occult work. You could or couldn't consider yourself a witch. I consider anyone practicing occult like this technically a witch, even though they don't call themselves a witch. That's just my opinion, but leave it to yourself for that one. So the imagination, everything that you see around you that has been created or man-made is naturally made. We need to get out of the perception that we are separate from nature. If we are born from nature and we're creating things, is it not natural? Or is because of our perception of our separation to nature means we think that things that we create are unnatural? I just want to leave that there with you. And while I play this little snippet from an anime show called Avatar.
Open your mind, you will see that all the elements are one, four parts of the same whole. Even metal is just a part of earth that has been purified and refined.
Come on, metal, budge! Woo! Toph, you rule.
So that little snippet that I just showed was essentially what I'm talking about. For example, when we create metal, we think that is artificial. We call it unnatural. Even though metal is formed naturally under the earth, things like iron and copper, tin, they're all formed naturally. But yet when we, or humans, create something out of it, it is then unnatural. But are we not natural? Or are we unnatural? That's a question for you. What I'm trying to do with this video is get you to step outside the box of thinking where you're separate to the things that are around you. You see these books behind me? They're made from the same thing as me. Atoms or carbon. I'm not separate from them. They're just a different expression of what is. The camera sitting there, man-made. Made by something natural, does that make it artificial? Or the things on my wall, or the wall itself. It was built by a human, right? Is it artificial? Is it unnatural? Now the reason we think all of these things are artificial and unnatural is because we're in a paradigm of separation. We're in a paradigm of believing what we want to believe or believing things. Now believing allows you to be lied to. Anytime you believe something, there's a chance that you could be lied to because you don't know. You don't know, so you believe. And when you believe, you can be lied to because you don't know. You don't know whether that person is telling the truth. You're just believing them. Don't believe anything that I say. Know what I say. Feel what I say. Experience what I say. So, the rise of the imagination is the start of the age of the Aquarius. Age of the Aquarius, sorry. The Aquarian age, the age of innovation. The age of the imagination. The age of imagination through innovation. Or the age of innovation through imagination. Now, things that are about to come out has already been created through imagination. Everything that you can perceive has been created through imagination. Anything that you cannot perceive has most likely been created through imagination. Now, if you practice meditation, what happens in meditation, in a seated still position or a lying down, standing up still position? You're centering yourself, you're becoming still. What happens to your mind's eye? Imagination starts unfolding for you, okay? Visualizations start coming to you, but what happens when you start projecting visualizations out? This is how we can take meditation a step, not further forward because people already do this, but take the mass meditation that people do a step forward. Instead of having things come to you, how about we create our reality? Which is what we're trying to do at the moment. Are we not? Are we not trying to create a better world for everyone? Are we not trying to create a perfect reality for us, for our existence? That is also going to co-create a better reality for people around you, adding epigenetics into the mix. So when you empower yourself, you empower your environment. The rise of the imagination is the rise of people using their imagination to create their own reality. And it's also the rise of occults, witches, starseeds, you name it. Anything that you want to label yourself on, this is your time to rise. Now, your imagination is a very powerful tool, like I've just mentioned. It creates everything. You can't create something without imagination. The thing you're watching this on wasn't created without imagination. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're sitting on, wasn't created without imagination. Now I want to go a little bit deeper on imagination, because imagination is essentially pulling from Akashic records. Pulling from what is already out there and bringing it forth into this realm, using our energy to create it and project it. Maybe through speaking, through art, through dance, through music. Okay? So the imagination is the source of what we create things with. Is it not? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the all has an imagination that has created all of the trees. Maybe it imagined all of those things, and then we were built in the reflection of the all, hence why our lungs look like trees. Our footprints look like a cut tree. Our fingerprints look like a cut tree. Were we built in the imagination? Were we created from imagination? Now, again, going a bit deeper, all the TVs, series, movies, films, they're all created through imagination, right? Which means everything that you've seen on TV, everything that you've seen on a movie may exist somewhere, because it's being pulled from somewhere into someone's mind. They're filtering it through their programs of what they currently know, and then they project it outwards. This is the imagination. This is the power of the imagination, the creation of reality, creation of your reality and the collective reality. So I ask you now, what are you using your imagination to create? Are you creating, or are you receiving? Are you receiving too much and creating too little? Think about that for a second. Are you maybe not using your imagination enough? Maybe having your imagination beat you up? Maybe having other people tell you that your imagination can't be right. That's just imagination. That's in your head. Where we're all inside our head. All is mind. So take a second to think about all the things that you've thought of in the past that have been a bit crazy, have been a bit out there, and share it. Because this is the time where things collectively are going to shift dramatically. Very soon, the Age of Aquarius is unfolding as we speak. And as soon as we hit about the 21st to the 30th of January, it's going to go straight on in. We're not there yet. As soon as Aquariuses start having their birthdays, that's when we start the Age of Aquarius. Okay, and then it comes into full swing in a while. In a while. I won't tease you yet because talking about the future may make things not unfold depending on certain situations. So, the future will be where everyone can use their imagination. A lot of people are sitting inside boxes because they don't believe that their imagination can do something for them. But it can. They sit there, they have other people telling them, no, I don't like that, that's not good, you shouldn't do that. Or they've got their own talk that chatter in their head saying, oh, you're not good enough, you failed at this before, you've done this before, this is not going to work, blah, blah, blah. But that's you allowing other circumstances to affect you, or you allowing your own mind to affect you. Okay? So you need to train the mind, allow your imagination to unfold, and push it outward from yourself. Don't just keep it inside, because otherwise you're going to bottle in. It's like emotion, it's like energy in motion. You keep emotion that you don't want in, or that you do want in, and it just doesn't go where. It just stays inside and it bottles you up. And you feel like, oh, I could have shared that. I knew about that before, and you've seen a video about it, and I said, oh, someone's stealing my mind. No, it's all connected. If you don't push something out, another person is going to take that, pull it, and use their imagination to project it. Okay? So the imagination is the most powerful tool in the world. Why? Think about it. Imagination has people separated. It has people segregated through nations, through cultures. The imagination has done that. It has people separated through housing systems, through walls. The imagination has done that. It has people in control. It has certain people in control of the collective consciousness system that we are in. The imagination has done that. Because the imagination of the collective consciousness has allowed it to happen. But now is what is the imagination doing? The imagination is allowing the collective consciousness to flourish collectively, their imagination, to share their imagination through what we call technology. Now, I will go on a little bit deep with technology and AI, because I have mentioned that we are not separate to the things that we're creating. So are we creating artificial intelligence? That's a good one. Are we creating artificial intelligence if we're natural? Now, artificial intelligence is a little bit thing to fear about. I'm just double checking my battery life. Cool. So, artificial intelligence is something to fear because... Am I recording the right way? Yes, I am. Because if certain people are in control of what we call artificial intelligence, where it's just another form of intelligence that we can create to help us and benefit us, but if we allow certain people in control of that technology, then it won't be good for us. Okay? There is going to be, not shortly, this is going to be a very long time, but there is going to be an intertwining convergence of spirituality, biology, and technology. This will happen. Okay? It will happen. There is no doubt about it. We're going back to nature, to understand nature, to understand that we are not separate from everything. So if we're not separate from everything, then how are things artificial? How are things artificial if we are not separate, if we are the all? So AI, if we are creating it, it makes it natural. Because we are natural. Again, this is just a higher perspective. It's understanding the law of polarity, but understanding the law of all. Okay? So we are all connected, but we are all separate at the same time. But it doesn't mean that when we create something like pair of glasses, this is made out of oil and sand and metal. Plastic limbs made out of oil, glass made out of sand, connectors made out of metal, which is earth. This is all natural. But we've just processed it using our imagination, and then we call it artificial or man-made. We call it man-made because we've got the perception that we are separate from nature. When guess what? We are not separate from nature. As a lot of people may have been telling you over the last few years, we are not separate from nature. Okay? So this is the rise of the imagination. I want you to use your imagination as vividly as possible to create your reality, okay? Go wild, go big, or go home. Peace out. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Peace.